Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ailey, thanks for watching. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. It's sort of like a story time, but you'll know by the title anyway. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about me so you guys could get to know me a little bit better and address... I know there's like a million and one videos talking about anxiety on YouTube, and to be honest with you, everybody's points are valid about it, and it's something that is really new to me, so I'm not going to go into too much depth about it or anything like that, but I just kind of wanted to share my story in case somebody is going through something similar right now, because when it happened to me I had no idea what the hell was happening. So yeah, I just thought share my story and it might help somebody, or it might make somebody understand a little bit more about what they're going through. So I do have a giveaway going on, so if you would like to check that out, then I will leave the link in the description box below. I am giving away one of these. It's the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. You'll find all the details in the video and I'll link it in the cards up here as well. Flashback. When I was younger, I was so outgoing. Nothing bothered me. I did get nervous about things and stuff like that, but I would do anything. I was just such a thrill seeker, and don't get me wrong, I still am today, but nothing made me nervous. I just went out and did it. So I actually, in 2010, 7 years ago, in December, I actually went to Glasgow and did my Category 2 and Category 1 lorry licence. So for people who don't know what that is, that's your normal 18-tonne lorry and then your big Arctics that tow the trailers. And I had never driven in Glasgow before that, and I had never driven a lorry before that, and I loved it. And I worked as a lorry driver for 3 years, but it didn't bother me. The night before my test for my Class 1, I was really nervous, but it kind of went away the next day once I actually got in to do it and all that. So I was nervous, but never experienced any sort of anxiety or anything like that about it, and you know, all went well, so it was fine. Flash forward to 2014, I wanted to get my bike licence, and my dad has been on his bike for years now, and I had been on my 125 for a couple of years, so I thought now is the time. I definitely want to go ahead and get my full licence. So yeah, I started my training. My training was fine, and I mean, it was a little bit more nerve-wracking because for anybody who doesn't know, I'm 5'2" and I'm only about 8.5, 9 stone, so a big 500cc motorbike is heavy, and I struggled to touch the ground on them, and it was a whole different ball game from my little 125. So I kind of struggled a little bit more, but I mean, I had plenty of lessons, and then when it came to my test, I knew I wasn't ready for it, and my instructor said, well, you know, it's too late now anyway, do it and you'll have the experience. If you're not from the UK and you don't know, or you don't know anything about the bike test in the UK, basically what they do now is they do a Module 1 and a Module 2. Your Module 1 is in a really high quality car park. Basically, it's got all of your maneuvers set out, and you do specific tasks. You do 6 or 7 maneuvers basically. I think there's like, you do the reversing of the bike where you actually stand beside it and pull it round and from one bay into another bay, and that just absolutely knackered me. So even from the get-go, it was like an absolute nightmare for me. Anyway, so you do all of that, and then once you've passed that, they'll take you out for your normal test, which is on the road, and it's just basically very like your car driving test, but you don't do any maneuvers in it because you've done them all already. I did my Module 1 3 times before I passed, and the first time I knew I wasn't ready at all. I totally jacked up my figure of 8. But the second time, because I was doing training in between times, I was getting myself more and more worked up. So when I was going up for the training, I was finding myself getting really worked up. And then when it came to my second test, I felt sick to my stomach. And it's something that I've never really felt before, and I was like, right, okay, I must just be really nervous just because I know I failed last time, I have to pass this time. It's costing money. So, you know, here we go. And basically, I just fell to pieces. I mean, I was okay during the test, I managed to hold it together, but I a shaken mess. I couldn't eat. I was feeling really, really sick, and this was all completely alien to me. So I managed to get through the second test. I failed again, obviously, and then I was ready to give up. And it was my dad and my instructor actually that managed to convince me, no, you'll be fine, you know, it's okay. And I actually kind of came to the conclusion that the bike was just not right for me. So I ended up actually getting my own bike. Now, if you don't know, you can't legally ride a motorbike that is over 500 cc's. I think they've changed it, but it used to be 500 cc's with L plates on the road. It has to be a 125 because you do a thing called a CBT, and that makes you legal to drive about with L plates on a 125. So I couldn't practice on this bike. I had a car park and I practiced like my figure of eight and my slalom and my U-turn and stuff like that, and it was always the U-turn that I would mess up on. So I did a little bit of practice, but mainly, you know, I was kind of getting used to the bike, and I booked my third test. I have never felt so anxious and sick and jittery and horrible in my life, and I really didn't think that I was going to be able to do the test, and I had my dad with me and stuff like that, and it was horrendous. So I had no idea what was going on. Passed the test, obviously, third time, so it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was, and went on to book my Module 2. So my Module 2 wasn't too bad. I still had the really horrible doomsday feeling before my test, but the test went absolutely brilliant, passed it first time, then I was out on my bike. And the funny thing is, when I'm on the bike, I feel fine. Totally feel fine. Anybody who knows anything about bikes, likes bikes, has their own bike, will probably understand what I'm talking about. I absolutely love the feeling of being on my bike. And basically, it's always anticipation. So if I'm anticipating going somewhere on the bike, I'll stress out. If I'll kind of like think, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens, what if the next thing happens? And since that kind of first incident with me getting really nervous going to my test, I have suffered really, really badly from anxiety. It hasn't stopped. Well, no, it hasn't really stopped me doing anything yet, which obviously, touch wood, that's a good thing. But it is really, really bad at times, and there's nobody really in my family that suffers from anything like that, so I had no idea what it was. And it's so weird because you could compare it to being scared of spiders or something like that. You are scared, you have no idea why you're scared. Or you're nervous and you have no idea why you're feeling nervous. It's really, really, really strange. So yeah, I didn't have anybody to tell me what was going on, that it was completely normal, that I was just suffering from anxiety. And then I actually went to the doctors about it. I think it was just 6 months to a year ago, and yeah, they told me that I had pretty severe anxiety. They said, as long as you can manage it, you're fine. We don't really necessarily want to put you on any medication for it. I don't want any medication for it, but it's just funny that it came on like that with something, you know, I don't want to say so small because a bike test is not small, but it just kind of came on. So yes, it can happen. You don't have to have had it since you were in high school or anything like that. Whether you've suffered with it for 5 minutes or you've suffered with it for years, it doesn't make it one any less than the other. They are horrendous, and it does seem like everybody kind of throws the word around nowadays, you know, if they're feeling anxious or stuff like that. Severe anxiety is no joke. I do not have severe anxiety, though they tell me that I have severe anxiety. I don't. I've seen people who won't go on planes and stuff like that because they're so scared or so anxious, and get really anxious for no reason. I mean, if I go to the shop, I feel anxious. It's so stupid, but it's there. I feel like I have to go somewhere on my own, I get really anxious, even though there's absolutely no reason to. The difference is I still push myself to go and do these things, so I'm able to do that. I feel really bad for the people who are so bad that they can't do that. So yeah, that is my story. I don't know if it'll have been interesting in the slightest to anyone, but if you're going through something similar and you have no idea what it is, or you think it could be, but you think you're maybe just playing it up in your head, and you know, people are saying to you, oh, stop being so stupid or stuff like that, then I can totally sympathise with you, and I hope that this little story kind of makes you think, oh, maybe that is what it is. So I would recommend, if it is worrying you, go and see your doctor, but there's lots and lots of things you can find online and stuff like that that will help you. Basically, it's all about self-help. You can go to therapy or you can medicate, and I really, really want to avoid the medicating part because I just don't like taking tablets. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a doctor and tell you how to deal with your anxiety. The way I deal with it is I just keep doing stuff. Even if it bothers me, even if it makes me feel really, really anxious, even if it makes me feel sick, I'll do it anyway. I really do not want to let something stop me from doing the things that I want to do. But, you know, if that's not an option for you, go and see somebody. There are websites online, there are support groups and things like that. There's probably ones on Facebook and stuff. Go and look at that. But I really hope that this video maybe helped you in some way, or if you found it interesting, then I would love if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions or this is something that you suffer from as well, leave a comment below, and I'm sure everybody would love to kind of like swap stories and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I post videos every Wednesday and Friday, so hopefully I will see you guys soon.